By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Touro College and the Board of Regents of the State of New York, I confer upon Dr. Richard B. Stone the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, obligations, and immunities appertaining thereto. In token thereof, we present you with this diploma and tribute proclamation, and I ask that my colleagues place the traditional academic hood of doctorate upon you as a visible symbol of the esteem in which you are held.
Chairman Haston, President Kadish, members of the administration, members of the faculty, students and their graduating students and their families. This is a thrilling and moving honor for me. It's my only doctorate. And it's a very personal moment for me because of the incredible relationships that I have in this institution. And now from seniority, I take the right to give you a few brief pieces of advice. I have tried to lead a life in which the core values are Ahavas Torah and Ahavas Yisrael. To the extent that I succeeded, if I did so by taking an unusual route which I do not generally recommend. Unlike the vast majority of you, I'm sure there are many individual stories, I moved into the Touro world and Touro learning after I already had a sophisticated secular education and a clear path to a wide choice of prestigious professional opportunities. I struggled mightily, and I hope with some success, to crack the barriers of Talmudic learning after I had a drawerful of Ivy League honors. I tell you this not to make sure that you know my individual history, but as preface to a brief message or two that I delivered to you today. My message is basically that life and people are complex, and in our day, there is too much stereotyping. Too much stereotyping to reflect the true complexities of who we really are and the challenges we face. Dr. Lander, whom I told you I proudly counted as a friend, wanted to provide an environment in which serious B'nai and B'nai Torah could acquire general education and career training without compromising their core ideals. In this way alone, his contribution to the Jewish world will be long regarded, perhaps forever. I add a thought, though, that I think, a nuance to this idea that I think Dr. Lander would have agreed with. Your arrival to this moment shows that you understand the need to navigate the outside world, including to make a living that enables you not only to support families in dignity, but hopefully also to help others and to sustain our moistness, our institutions. My added suggestion is simply to remember, you don't have to drag along either part of your life in mediocrity. You can be truly excellent and committed in both parts of your life. The learning of Torah and the living of the Torah life, surely the first priority, and the conduct of a business or professional life. Today there are models all over the place. Great lawyers, doctors, bankers, builders of businesses, academics who are serious Talmidei Chachamim, or women who learn Torah seriously, and men and women who make serious contributions to the Jewish world and live exemplary Torah lives. There's no inconsistency between being a true Ben Torah and having an outstanding career in virtually any field. I want to make another suggestion to you about the avoidance of stereotypes and the responsibilities of B'nai Torah.
Miracles are everywhere to those who see them. And in my lifetime, at least 2 profound miracles have occurred to Klal Yisrael. 70 years ago, as I was preparing to come out into this world, the Jewish people helplessly stood by during the slaughter of 40% of our world population, which included a much higher percentage of the Torah world. Many of those not caught in the storm, especially here in America, were in denial, and those who were not in denial had no idea of how to stop the horror. The infinitely rich Torah life of Eastern Europe seemed to have been obliterated. I am old enough to remember vividly a time in America when the vast majority of Jews assumed that the Judaism we called Orthodox, Torah Judaism, was inevitably flickering out to be replaced by some new and totally assimilated American form of Judaism. Even in Israel, Ben-Gurion assumed that so few men would choose yeshiva deferments that he had no problem giving it to them. 70 years is a big part of our lives, quite a huge part of yours, but a fleeting moment in Jewish history. But today, the reality confounds every prognosticator of 70 years ago. The number of people learning in major yeshivas in Israel, America, and other parts of the Jewish world, and places like Touro, is staggering. Orthodoxy is by far the fastest growing segment of Jewry all over the world, and the general Torah education level of Orthodoxy is outstanding. And you and Lander College are part of that phenomenon. You're incredibly fortunate to have been brought up in this Torah world, and many of your ancestors who lived in immediate post-war America stared down from heaven, I assure you, in disbelief. Second miracle, the Jewish people are not helpless anymore. A Jewish government and a Jewish army control the Jewish homeland where every Jew has the right to live. And ultimately, that government and that army protect, in one way or another, every Jew in the world. Primarily for this reason, the attitude of diaspora Jews, including us in America, about our rights and our power to advocate for the protection of ourselves, of Jews in the rest of the world, and the Jews in Israel is completely different from what it was 70 years ago. We feel entitled and at ease arguing our case as a united Jewish community in the highest levels of government and power here and all over the world. These 2 miracles, the revival of Torah and control by Jews of our own homeland, are very interrelated phenomena, in my opinion. You can disagree, but I cannot imagine learning at the level it is in America without learning at the level it is in Eretz Yisrael. And I cannot imagine learning at the level it is in Eretz Yisrael without a Jewish government, no matter how imperfect, controlling the land of Israel and protecting its population. I'm not talking politics, I'm talking facts. And so to me, Ahavas Torah and Ahavas Yisrael create for me 2 priorities. 1, support of Torah learning at the highest level. 2, defending the security of Jews, which means primarily defending the security and future of Jewish control of Eretz Yisrael. Use, for what I'm saying, whatever terminology you prefer, whatever terminology you are comfortable with. And so I've had at least some chance to live by example. And I am incredibly fortunate to be the president of an excellent yeshiva called Beis Yosef Nevardak. And two, the chairman of Conference of Presidents of major American Jewish organizations, the foremost communal voice in support of Israel and the America-Israel friendship. I think I am, the first person to hold this specific combination of assignments. But it is to me a totally natural and consistent combination. I wish more secular Jews who love their people would support the great yeshivas and understand that the great yeshivas in Torah learning really belongs to the whole of Klal Yisrael. And perhaps this is the part I direct to you most urgently. I wish, frankly, that more B'nai Torah would understand their responsibility in this time that Dr. Kadish described as so challenging and precarious, would understand their responsibility to add their voices and their power to defend the Jewish government in Eretz Yisrael.